Super Sentai Kizunager, Bond Final, the wedding and the happy ending. The final story begins in the streets of New Avalost City in the New World. Tsuji Kizuna Black, and Shouichi Ikigami, Kizuna Crimson, are handing out wedding invitations to their loved ones to attend Togo and Yihdra's wedding after the defeat of the Bonded King and the Bansouenders. But Shouichi wasn't aware that Tsuji's dark bond energy is the only one left standing, as the monoseed is unable to cleanse his dark bonds and began to awaken his desire to be number one at everything. Meanwhile, at the falling kit, the Kizunagers, Nagar, Emily, Shuji, Tsukasa, Kirihiro, Rainaya, and Ezra, are congratulating Tenrei Nikaido, Kizuna Silver, on her promotion of becoming the new mentor of the Kizunagers, as they heard that Professor Pythagoras and Oinkbrella are exploring the new world after their retirement. But then Togo Asagaki, Kizuna Red, and Yihdra Arvoln, Kizuna Magus, arrives alongside Poseidon, Yidra's butler, and the Shindo family, Daigo, Yukari, and Sumuka, to discuss about the wedding, since they have made several bonds with a lot of people during their journey. Meanwhile, at the streets of Akalina, Princess Teltina, Kizuna Rise, and Logi Mist, Kizuna Night, arrives at the diner to pick up the wedding cake from Grossa, as she thinks about her future with Logi once they took over the throne of the Avalost Empire after Regulus McVolt, Teltina's ex-fiancé, took over the throne of the Royal Mist family alongside her mother, Queen Roch, after the death of King Lotus during his kingdom conquest when he was the Harmony Bondki. This made Teltina look down at the Zyuager Legend Bond Plate and wondered if it's time to return the Super Sentai's power to their rightful owners, since they can't risk anybody else obtaining their bond energy to transform into Bondki monsters. The next day at the New World Church, all of the Kizunagers' friends and loved ones arrived at the wedding to congratulate Togo and Yihdra on their marriage, with Kirihiro being Togo's best man and Teltina being Yihdra's maid of honor, since both of them are feeling nervous about their marriage after their time together. As the Kizunagers and the guests witness Yihdra walking in alongside Teltina, Togo blushes intensely and speechless once he looks at Yihdra in a wedding dress. As the wedding ceremony begins, with Azur being the pastor to officially make it Togo and Yihdra's marriage happened, but then Tsuji feels the monoseed unable to contain his dark bonds any longer, as he stands up and demands that he should be the only one to protect the new world as the #1 new world savior to make a better happy ending. So now Tsuji embraces his dark bond energy yet again to transform into a new Bondki monster known as the Harmony Bondki, as he explains that time has been altered and he has inherited the ultimate power of a Super Sentai team with music and nostalgia known as the Harmony Sentai Zenithman, and began to trap all of the guests inside of Sentai rings, since he believes that this is the only way to protect them, as he runs out of the church to turn more people into Sentai rings. This made the Kizunagers shocked to find out that Tsuji has become a Bondki monster for the third time, since they didn't think that the monoseed couldn't cleanse all of Tsuji's dark bond energy, as they began to chase after him to cleanse his dark bonds one last time. At the streets of New Avalost City, the Harmony Bondki summons a horde of Moris to assist him to turn more people into Sentai rings for their own protection, as he claims himself to be the #1 new world savior. But then Togo and his friends showed up to put an end to the Harmony Bondki's twisted ways, as they pull out their bond plates and inserts them into their Kizuna braces to transform into the Kizunagers: red, blue, yellow, green, pink, silver, white, night, gold, orange, rise, and magus, to save the people of the new world from harm's way as they cheer for them. Yihdra inserts the Jetman Legend Bond Plate into her Kizuna brace to summon the Jetmen to help take the people to safety, while Togo inserts the Rainbow Bond Plate to transform into Kizuna Red, Rainbow Armor Mode. to embrace the Kizuna Master's godlike powers to weaken the Harmony Bondki a bit as he combines all of the Legend Bond Plates together to create the Super Sentai Legend Bond Plate and inserts it into his universe D-Caliber to perform the Super Sentai Kizuna Burning Slasher to knock down the Harmony Bondki. But then he ignites his dark bond energy to allow him to grow gigantic to crush the Kizunagers. As Togo and the other Kizunagers have no idea how to defeat the Harmony Bondki in his gigantic state, they noticed a portal opening up as the Kizuna beasts were reborn as gods and descended from the heavens to help the Kizunagers free G from his dark bonds for good as they form the Gokaiger General, the Yin-Yang Kizunagers, and the Elemental Spirit Master to give them a fighting chance. So now the Kizunagers pilots their mesh and gather together to perform the ultimate Kizuna Final Blaster to finally defeat the Harmony Bondki for good to free G from his dark bond energy for good as Yihdra retrieves a new Legend Bond Plate known as the Zenithman Legend Bond Plate. Back at the wedding ceremony, the Kizunagers congratulate Togo and Yihdra on their marriage as they decided to return all of the Legend Bond Plates to their respected Super Sentai teams from across the universe to make sure nobody else can turn into a Bondki monster with dark bond energy. But Togo decided to keep the Zenithman Legend Bond Plate for a bit before returning it back to its rightful owner as he inserts it into his Kizuna brace to play a message from a White Ranger known as Zenithman, Masaya Jisei, who thank the Kizunagers for restoring their world to bring happiness back to the people of Nostal City and hopefully retrieve their Sentai ring next. So now Masaya gives Togo an extra Transinger as a wedding present before ending the message as he hands it to a singer named Aichida who sings Explosive Heart at their wedding for all of the guests to dance to as they declare their final victory for saving the people of the New World from dark bonds as we finally end the story with a happy ending.